Hey guys, well here we are in lovely Currumbin Valley. We had to drive up like we were going to Jurassic Park to get up here, and Smokey was waiting at the top of the driveway to welcome us, so we're going to go in, have a chat, see what this brewery's all about. Get out, Sylvie. Hey guys, we're up Currumbin Valley with Smokey. This is the original location. This is where the Brew Kit is, and we're going to get in, find out what's going. How are you, man?
Nice one, Adsy. Thanks for coming up.
Yeah, fuck, man. So, show us what we got in here, man. So, just the 4 fermenters?
Yeah, just inside. This is all we've got. Yeah, so just 15 hec. I squeeze into them like in work production.
Yep.
And yeah, then basically this is our mash lauter ton.
Yep.
And it's pretty much all been managed to get in through this roller door, so it's kind of squat, but you can see it's got bolt-on legs here, so we kind of jimmied that up with a pallet jack and got that bottom part on.
Yeah.
And then you know, it's a nice bit of kit out of Tiantai. I mean, obviously sometimes people think that Chinese and stuff isn't the best, but with our budget it was the option, and I'm actually really happy with it.
A lot of breweries got Tiantai.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, so it was a big step up for us getting an auger and grist hydrator, but we don't actually...
I bet that helps quite a bit though.
Oh, massively, man. I mean, anything that eliminates like double handling.
100%, right? Yeah, it's all about efficiencies.
Yeah, that's right, man. And I mean, like, so this is probably my favourite part of the kit.
Yeah, so this is probably one of the first time we've seen something like this in a brewery.
Oh, really? A big work grant? Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, basically, very quickly, it's just to save the lauter plates when you don't have a manometer to really see, which we don't.
Yep.
And you know, so basically, like it gravity feeds into here through this valve.
Yep.
And then you control the outlet here with pump speed, and so this is a little obsolete having a second sight glass there.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like, you can control the clarity and the flow here, which is obviously the pressure on those plates. So it relieves a bit of that.
Yeah, nice.
And then that runs into our kettle, which is the finest dairy vat man has seen. You can even see the original when we had to roll it out of its original place. You can see
just hit some rock
there, went across the concrete and stuff. But yeah, so basically, like, that's probably really the hero of our show as well, because it's well,
this is a bit of a different piece of kit than you see in a lot of breweries too. Like this.
You're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, we saw it first at 7 Cent. We got the idea. Hendo took us down on a Melbourne mission before we before he built our brewery, and we saw 7 Cent had a setup not too dissimilar to this, and also the guys at Tallboy and Moose.
Yep.
And yeah, they use an electric element, I think, at Tallboy and Moose. But we do have one for like heating. I heat my strike liquor in here and basically mash in and send it across from the kettle in the morning. And yeah, so as a result of that, man, it's basically like, you know, it's just a nice way of doing things. But we've got the thermal fluid coming in from outside, which is a bit of a secret thing. But I'm really excited to show you guys that too. But it basically runs through the jacket of the old dairy vat here. There was a little bit of emission converting that thermal fluid across because it is an oil. And there was some leaks in the welds. And once there's oil and in stainless welds, it's a pain. But we did manage to get it done in the end. Nice. But, not without a little bit of trial and tribulation. But yeah, it's all good.
So this liquid oil that you're talking about, what is it? Let's go and have a look.
We can go and check it out, man, for sure. But basically it's like a really refined oil that's being pumped through the jacket. Oh, look, here's our Brew Dog, Sylvie.
Hey, Sylvie.
Hey, Sylvie, no, what you doing? Aren't you going to go on film? She's like, I'm not going on film, Dad. That's her voice too, by the way, just in case.
That's
so, I mean, it's going to be a little tricky to get an angle out here, I think. But basically, like, these are our 2 original bright tanks. And then that dairy vat there was our original mash lauter ton. So rather than the big one that's upgraded. So initially, that was a limiting factor in the brewery. Like I had...
Because you couldn't do anything more than that kit.
We did a brew of waste oil once where the liquor to grist ratio was, I think, about 1.9. And I could sit a stainless steel mash paddle on top of the mash.
It was that thick.
It wouldn't sink. so that was what I meant by that was a limiting factor. Now, once we upgraded to that mash lauter ton in there, it completely changed the brew house. So the kettle was a limiting factor now. It was just a smaller part of it. So yeah, it was interesting. But I just thought I'd throw that in. And these are our 2 original brights. Look, ultimately, we don't use them as brights now. We've converted them into uni tanks, which comes with some of its own challenges. But basically, there's a long racking arm inside here. It's probably, like coming around about 1.5 meters long. And it's arced to get through this thing and actually be able to turn to pick up in different spots. They're challenging as uni tanks. Obviously, they're not designed for that. But we still make them work. At the moment, there's a sneaky wild beer, table beer from Lukey's lab in there. Yeah, I'm really excited. We might even get a little sneaky try of that in while you're here.
Yeah.
And then please watch your step as you come through here, because the number two, watch your step number one.
We don't want to hurt our feet.
Yeah, don't bang into these as you walk past, because they leave really nice bruises. Particularly this one, which gets you right in the hip.
That's a man speaking from experience.
Yeah. So basically, this is how we heat our brewery. And it's pretty unique. I'm not sure if anyone else in Australia has it. There probably is. I'm not up to date with all the different breweries and their setups. Maybe you can help me with that.
Mate, I haven't seen anything like this in another brewery.
So the first thing you can see is that this came on a skid. So it came in a 20-foot open-top container from China. And basically we were able to use a Franna crane to drop this on place here. Then it was a matter of welding all the pipe work together, all the stainless steel pipe, and lagging it up, which has the thermal fluid in it, which came in these luxury Caltex containers there. But basically, like, it's a really refined oil that we pump through the jackets. And it also gets pumped through this thing that looks like Thomas the Tank Engine, which is its nickname, but it's basically a thermal fluid heater. So inside this part here, which looks like the part of a train, is actually insulated triple coil. Right? And these pumps here, which we cycle, will pump that oil around through there. And then this part is the heating aspect, and in all of its glory and tiny littleness, it's actually a waste oil burner. It's switchable from 180 to 360 kilowatts from memory. And basically all that happens is we pump the waste oil in from an IBC. That's a little pump that pumps it up. It goes through a little filter from a car into this little receptacle here, which has an element in it, preheats it to 90 degrees, and then it's atomized out this way, and at the end of the atomizer there's an arc point which lights it, and then there's a fan in here which is controlled by that, which basically blows it in the direction that's being fired as well. And by using the combination of that atomizing from the compressor and the fan speed, you can actually tune this so all you see coming out of that is like the convection currents. So there's no, like, it's Euro level 3, which at the time when we started this was pretty good. Long story short, this was a solution that Luke found, I think in the UK, and it's used there a bit. And look, for us, it was steam's too much compliance, and it was another headache, and electricity obviously we couldn't do, so this was it. And that's how Luke found it, and like, I was all over it. So this is bloody brilliant. Originally, my arms used to be way more jacked because I had to pump 20 litres by hand out of mechanics waste oil down in Currumbin, which is where our stout gets its name. And it was 121 pumps to fill 20 litres, and I'd do about 240 at a time. So people used to laugh at me. They'd sit across the road at Iron and Resin and go, "Look at this clown.
Just see it."
What's he doing, that guy? But anyway, it was all in the effort for a bit of sustainability. We get to reuse a product that would otherwise go to waste. And then you can see the old solar hot water reservoir there. That's our glycol reservoir. So we repurposed that as well. We've got a mate, Moog, who fixed that up for us. And then the glycol chillers are in that tower there as well, which is reasonably inaccessible from here. Especially for poor old Joel. But like, so for each brew cycle, I have to clean both of the cold liquors and both of these and fill them. I service this and get them heating the kettle, and I drop an element in to keep that hot, like overnight, because I used to have to get in and spend an hour and a half getting everything hot and heating up. That lets me walk in the morning and pretty much just wheel the grain out, hook up the auger, and pretty much start getting water ready. But the reason why these have to be clean is because I actually capture the cold liquor again through transfer through the heat exchanger back in here. And so I need them to be clean. It can't be rubbish, right? And then basically I will use water each time. It saves us a day in preparation. Ultimately, which is pretty full on.
Once again, that extra bit of efficiency that you can save.
Exactly. Everything you catch, and so that's right. And it ultimately saved us a day of labour. So initially we were starting as a prep day, which is me servicing this and cleaning those and filling them all out, sorting out the grain, and Lukey cleaning a tank and a transfer line for me while it happens. And then we work through the brew cycle like that.
Yeah.
And so we have that one prep day, and then brew, and just Luke's cleaning a tank ahead, and we go through. Yeah, we're a good team like that. The two of us have smashed it out. But now the tap room's open, like I've put my hand up to do it on my own, so it'll end up being pretty much a 4-day week to brew, I think. Like just a prep day, a clean the tank day, and then pretty much brew, and then a clean up day. So yeah, I'm happy with that. That'll go all right. But anyway, let's get out of this rain.
Yeah, speaking of the tap room.
Yeah, we better get down there.
Yeah, let's go and have some beer.
Oh yeah, hell yes.
Hey guys, so here we are today. We've just been up Smokey's farm, up at the brewery where it all happens, and now here we are down at the tap room, enjoying some of the fruits of your labour, mate.
Yeah, so, happy days.
Yeah. So I've gone with the devil in the details. You've gone with?
I've gone with Ripple.
Yep.
Yeah, which is
Joel's
a funny story.
got a hazy.
He's got Misty Mountain.
Misty Mountain, and this is the
Blackcurrant Pastil, which is what our GABS beer 2021, I think.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
man. So thanks heaps for having us up at the brewery.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming up, man.
Yeah,
it's a long way to go.
No, it was great. It was such a beautiful drive.
I was going to say, how did you like the driveway?
The driveway.
Did you need a beer after that?
Driveway was all right. I was. With the way you were talking though, I thought it was going to be way worse. I said to Joel, it's like driving into Jurassic Park, some of the arch of the trees and stuff.
No, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's cool. Especially after the rain we've had too, so it's all fresh and green.
It's lush at the moment. You're lucky to get up here actually after 100%. The rain we had last night. But anyway, another story. So
the brewery here, well, you don't have a brewery here, but you've got some of the kit going on. But the tap room itself, this was a long time coming, hey?
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, ideally we would have had this going around, well, from the start would have been nice. But it was a risk-free way or low-risk way of opening the business, like on my farm. Obviously it's rent-free up there. But there's some aspects of it, as you saw, like the spring water side of things and obviously the sustainability actually making it up there, which is really good. But we need the retail margin. I mean, obviously that's the main thing. So we've operated predominantly like probably 90% wholesale and 10% retail up until obviously cost of living crisis has happened and flipped things on its head. Fortunately, we were able to open this. And I don't know how many people know, but we did have another site probably ready to go around about early to mid 2021 that fell over. We lost a bit of money in that, but it was a blessing in disguise. And honestly, the community here in Currumbin's looked after us and they heard our story and found a spot for us, and we're really happy with where we are.
Because you've had the brewery for how many years now? Like a lot more years than you've been able to have a tap room.
That's right.
And get beer out.
So we started in September. Well, probably the concept and that of Luke and I were spitballing around maybe like 2015. We started the partnership and released our first beer that we brewed at Black Ops. Gypsy brewed there with Lookout, which is double IPA, in October 2016. So that's now 8 years, or a better part of it. And 2 years later, we opened up at the farm and then operated since then, and only like September 2023 we opened here. So it's a long time, like guts of it without retail margins.
Yeah, man. So how much of a struggle was that? Like, because even like you weren't really well known, except out of this little area, the people who knew you and whatnot, like, people who knew you were fine, but you were always at every event for that exposure.
That's
to
right.
let people know.
That was the only way we could really get that community interaction. So we did. That's like Luke needs a lot more credit. So here and there, I'll drop credit for him because he obviously is not here. But the thing is like he's very tactical.
100% the other half, hey? Like you could not.
He's probably
do
the other 75%, especially at the moment with me out of action with my foot. But the thing is Luke's very clever, and what he would do is events like GABS and stuff like that we wanted to do anyway because we had great ideas with that great bubblegum sour and whatnot. That gave us the marketing boost, winning that People's Choice then with that beer that we could never afford. We've never had a marketing budget.
Oh mate, because that puts you on the map.
Yeah, that's right. So like I had already been selling beer wholesale anyway, probably since about 2014, I think. Basically, so I was in the industry and I had trust, so I had avenues to move the beer, but that gave us a national presence, and obviously some demand. And again, Luke was with the great idea that you could only buy that beer through our website. So you had Dan Murphy's and everyone knocking on our door because they wanted to push that beer everywhere. And honestly, we couldn't make enough to service what they wanted, and we had these discussions, and they really, back in those days, I don't know what it's like now, but they wanted about 1 million litres a year of production to be able to keep up for the stores they wanted to push it through. There's no way. No. We're 40,000 litres a year limited up there anyway. So, and
limited by production or council requirements?
Yeah, that's a DA requirement. But yeah, so we had these hyper-local events that we do, like Crafted, which we did a couple of things up in Brisbane. Back in the day, we did Tipsy with the Gypsy at Brisbane Brew House and stuff like that, which was good for exposure for us. We actually did our first sour we'd ever done there with Brendan Channel. Technically not, but one to release to the public. There then, so it was Lukey's idea. He did a Snapple, and I think it was a guava and something. Oh, it was the Kiwi. Wizard Stick is the name of the beer, and that came from the mash paddle that Brendan had. It looked like a wizard stick, and now it sounds funny when you say that at the bottle shop. You're asking for the beer, right? But anyway, that's another thing. We need to change that name. At the end of the day, events like that have helped, and we couldn't have done. I mean, we definitely wouldn't have gotten to this point without the GABS win. Like literally, I've spoken to Luke about it, and he's like, we probably would have had to shut the doors and lost all that money back then. Within a week or two, maybe a month. Like we were that. It was
talking about that beer, because I remember it. I worked that GABS at Brisbane, and I was working, and so I didn't get to taste it. And it had finished on the container bar and it had gone by the time, because it was so popular, right? And so I actually went to Sydney GABS just so I could try it.
Wow.
Drink it.
Thanks, man.
Oh, well, plus GABS.
I know, it's brilliant, isn't it? But seriously, that's great.
But when did you know that was a special beer? Was it before, was it during the concept phase, or was it when everyone just started talking about it and you're like, fuck, no one will shut up about it? Because it was lightning in a bottle.
So basically, I've got to try and make this quick, but Luke submitted the beer through GABS. And I'd always wanted to make a great bubblegum beer anyway, and the idea in a sour was great. The concept then was, how are we actually going to do it? We got that done. When it came to the brew, I have a 3 schooner rule for most beers. Obviously, if they get a bit higher in ABV, that's a little different, but anything around 5%.
Of them, but
you don't want to wake up too well. But then, so the thing is even out of the tank, straight away, the colour, the flavour, everything, the presentation, it nailed the brief. So I was so excited. So I would get people who know nothing about beer to come up and try it. They had to keep their mouth shut. They were family and stuff. But basically, they didn't really know. The beauty of that is people who don't know anything about beer, if they like beer, that's just as valuable, right? So when that feedback was coming, it was good. But as soon as GABS happened, and it basically sold out both sessions very quickly, and we were like, well, I actually obviously had a fair bit to drink. But I was pretty emotional because I love GABS, and being there and seeing that happen with our beer was huge. It was a blowout. So it's good.
And since then, have you tried to replicate that flash of lightning, or you've just gone, you guys know what you want to do and your beers, and you just keep doing that, and if one strikes, it strikes, and so be it?
I think it's sort of like that. I feel like quality is number one. You've got to have really good products. So for me personally, that beer winning was suddenly you really have to step up now. That was a good thing for me personally. Not that I didn't want to anyway, but it was a real kick up the bum. It's now your beer's getting nationally represented. So it's you have to be at this level, and everyone's expecting that, and so that was cool. But we were known for our sours, which hurt me a bit on a personal level, because I like hoppy beers.
Big IPA.
But also lagers and pale ales too. And I thought I made good ones of those, so I still do, but I'm biased. But the thing is we're known for the sour, so I want to push our other beers too. And this is a great way to do it. You get a tap room and people come down and they will try various things, and word gets around.
Speaking of Luke, we've mentioned him heaps of times, but he is literally the other half. He's the legend, and he doesn't just do taproom stuff or anything. He's the brewer. He goes recipes. You got the table saison.
So
you've got a couple of really cool table saisons that he's done.
So
like
yeah, Luke is a
insanely...
mixed culture legend.
Yeah.
Right? So he froths on that, and on the other side, he absolutely nails it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do have years and years ago. I think it was maybe 2019 too, or 2020. We entered a mixed culture table beer Intercompetent 1 champion mixed culture. I think that was in Queensland Beer Awards.
Yep.
And it won gold. Almost did really well at the ARBAs as well. Very high score there too, which is great. That beer's coming along soon.
Yep.
It is in tank, so that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the idea was to have that under a different brand, that strain thing. So like Lukey can really own it.
Yeah.
And it'll still be under our Fermental Proprietary Limited banner as a company. But yeah, it'll be, I think Luke really wanted to put it under a different brand.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I hope that does happen soon. But for me, I just want to get that beer out
just because it tastes fucking good.
I want to drink it. Yeah. And we've got, so that's pretty much set up. One of our brights up there at home is set up as a Solera. And so we can pull a bit of that off and use it in, we've got 118 litre like keg fermenters you can do now, or keg fermenters, whatever you want to call them, where we can put in a lot of fruit and macerate and do stuff like that. So I'll leave all that up to Lukey. Yeah. That's going to be his baby. Yep. And then we can do limited release runs that you'll only be able to buy here on our website. Yep. Basically, they won't go into wholesale at all. And yeah, that'll give us another good retail income stream and let Luke play a bit more. Because ultimately, he's like just kind of, the way we've had to, what we wanted to do from the start was a third of each, which was normal beers, like kettle sours or fast sours, and then like mixed culture beers. So it was supposed to be a third of each, but the turnaround time on the mixed culture stuff obviously it can be long.
Well, you don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
You've got to let it just do it.
And blending and all sorts of stuff, right? So.
But then when you blend it, you can't just bottle it. You've got to let it settle. Just make sure that it's going to eat anything else. Or...
Exactly. Yeah. So what ended up happening is we quickly found out with the demand after winning GABS is that we really needed our brewery to be turning over the kettle sours and any other beers that we kept up for wholesale and stuff like IPA, whatever, any other style of beer that wasn't a mixed culture. So unfortunately they've fallen by the wayside. So Lukey's sort of sat on the back side of his production. I can't wait for him to do it because like, it's going to be good. Get excited for it.
100%.
I can't. The name he's got's brilliant too. I can't wait. I'm really excited. So keep out. It'll happen soon. But in the meantime, I've taken production on. So sort of production, social media, and like
what's going on?
Maintenance of the brewery. I know, doggy. And then Lukey's looked after in a more kind of more hardcore admin role, really, logistics and the website and anything finance, right?
When you run your own business, you got to do all the things, plug the holes, because if you don't, you've got to pay someone to do it, and then that comes out of your bottom line. If you can't afford that, then you've got to do what you can as you're doing it all, right? So, especially in these economic times, it's not easy. It's not just selling beer. And
that's what I was going to say. Like, so Luke's done a brilliant job, because I can tell you when I was out there pounding pavement, we were always higher price than everyone else, and we still are. And the reason for that is that we can only make 40,000 litres of beer a year. As I told you, everything's like manual up there. Nothing's automated, down to heating tanks, so heating water. So it means that our labour per litre is very expensive compared to a brewery where you can just get instant hot water or whatever, it's all ready for you. So combined with the small production volume, which means our buying power is low compared to breweries like our friends around the corner here that produce millions of litres a year. Our price point has to be higher, and he's always held firm on that, which meant our quality had to be good and we had to be making really interesting beers, which I think we've pulled up doing. So Luke's been very clever in holding the ground on that sort of stuff. And instead of racing to the bottom, we've tried to make ourselves a quality product that is, it is two guys literally on a farm using the spring water to make great beers with really good local produce in a sustainable fashion.
Have you found?
And that price reflects that, but like that's Luke's strength. Sorry, Adsy.
You're right.
Is really to make sure, and like, if it was me in that position, we would have gone bust. No time flat, because I give beers away. I'm just loose as, and that's why you need
that business acumen.
The yin to my yang. Big time. And Luke is
Joel's my yang.
Well, you need it, eh?
Yeah, fucking know.
Especially for units like
us. 100%. Yeah, I know exactly. What's the future plan?
Mate, get my foot better. Ultimately, we've got this beautiful brew house here that came out of Sapporo in Japan, and the guys had it at White Oak Distillery up at Bigger Waters, and it came on the market. So it's sitting here. technically it's running.
Yep.
Right. So, but there's a bit involved in getting the rest of the brewery down here. So we need steam, we need tanks, we need glycol chillers and everything hooked up.
Yep.
But it's like having a cool old 1980s BMW or something sitting around that you can't drive yet. So I'm fanging to use it.
Yep.
And I don't know, you can't see it from here, but there's a little adjunct cooker in the middle of it there as well, which can be used for some cool stuff, like we can do some rice lagers and just mucking around with adjuncts in general. So yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. I'm pretty excited about it. And I shouldn't look over there, but yeah, so hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later. I don't know when though.
Well, man, I've finished my beer.
You have to choose
mate.
this one.
No, that's the good thing. See,
that's how that one, mate.
That's a timing. See, that's how I know.
I'm miles behind. Too much talking.
Yeah, but that's the good thing. That's mean I'm asking good questions.
Yeah, you're a good man, Adsy. Thanks kindly, dude. I really appreciate it.
No worries at all, man. Yeah, thanks heaps for taking the time.
Yeah, man, my pleasure. Yeah, and thank you, Silver. Yeah, smash some lolly juice, mate. It's good stuff.